going on, Mr. Brad Litton? How the heck are you?
I'm good, dude. How you doing?
I am doing well. This is like so much fun. I've really enjoyed like the YouTube live streaming, the vertical thing. It's been pretty engaging. So as people like start to pop in, we'll answer we'll answer questions. We'll field questions about teach. Since you and I both are quite good at guitar, we are quite good at teaching, and we are quite competent at running a business. I would say. So, are you in Texas right now?
Yeah, I am.
Where you guys are in like Midland?
No, all right. So we lived in Midland for a couple years,
Yeah.
and we moved back to Utah for a while. Now we're north of Houston. We're just north of the Woodlands. We're in Wood Forest.
Oh,
Um,
no way.
so yeah,
Cool. And then hey, if you guys that are here watching us live, if you got a question now, they're gone now. They'll come back. You guys are moving back to Vernal?
no, we just went back for spring break.
Oh, okay. You were just back to visit.
Yeah,
Okay.
it was spring break, so we went somewhere where it was a lot colder than here. Totally makes sense, right?
Well, yeah, because like I mean, being in the woodlands is that's you're getting some intense humidity in the summer. Um, yeah, I was just down in Houston a couple weeks ago playing downtown. It was a good time. Let me take care of this dog real quick, and if anyone's got a question in the chat, pop it in, and Brad's gonna answer it.
Yeah, I'm gonna answer it. Well, that depends. Like, really, that does kind of depend. But yeah, we will answer questions. Eric and I, we've known each other for a long time now. It's been,
Over 10 years, I want to say. So the first guitar teaching event that I went to in Chicago was in 2014, and I believe you were there for that one.
yeah,
So yeah, so we met 11 years ago. We met in a nice, healthy guitar teaching community that was like really fun. Took me from making no money teaching guitar to being able
hmm
to fully support myself and my family. And then over time, over the course of several years, that guitar teaching business group we were a part of became a very toxic, negative, horrible place. And it's weird. It's just weird how that changed.
well, yeah, it was so good in the beginning, and my wife and I talk about this all the time. We're like, there were so many good things, and so many ways that we were built up, like we were part of a community, people believed in us, we were helping each other. There was just so much good stuff going on, and then it became about the wrong subject. It was about one person and one philosophy, and it got a lot less about being a positive, uplifting, encouraging environment and helping people achieve things, to losing its focus entirely.
It
And
became
so
a very like egocentric, like it kind of every man for himself sort of thing, which
yeah.
doesn't surprise me given the philosophy that was pushed upon us.
Yeah, it was, yeah, like you said, very toxic. Every, yeah, there many people have said it's a cult. It basically became a cult,
You
so
you were the one I remember after we started our like Facebook self-help group for all of us recovering from that time period. You posted a thing that was like, here are all the signs of a cult. And I was, oh my gosh, we ticked every one of those boxes being in that teaching group. So I think I'm so glad we all eventually kind of saw the light and got out of that. If you're just joining us, pop in your guitar playing questions down below, and we'll answer them. Maybe we'll even have a shout off or something. Okay, so since that time, like once I got out, I found a real, I got hooked up with Dave Simon, who
Mm.
was a real good, like, positive force. And then I was in Bam Squad for a year, and now I'm not doing any of that. But it was really refreshing getting into guitar teaching business groups that were they were like, hey, the the thing you want to focus on is, like, let's say somebody calls you and they say, hey, do you have violin lessons? And you're like, no, I don't. Well, and then he was like, well, get on Google and find a place for them and help them. He's like, you don't get anything out of it. It's just like a good thing to do. And I was like, oh my gosh, I haven't heard anything like this in years.
Right? No, we actually we had that same thing happen just this last week. We had somebody looking for steel guitar lessons, and I don't know anybody in the area where my school is, but I and so there, and also there's no way to search because the basically the only online presence for music schools in my area is my school. And
Wow.
so I was like, okay, so if you find somebody, let us know so that, if somebody asks again, we can send them that way.
Yeah.
Um, the other option would have been in the past to take on doing that, and this is not my thing. So
Right, right. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I slowly learned over time the importance of, like, staying in my lane and doing what I do best. What Okay, so you have an in-person music school? Like,
mhm,
so that's rocking. And then you've got simple guitar, which you've
mhm.
taken a little bit of break from YouTube, but you said that that's something you're coming back to.
Yeah, I mean, moving across the country, and I've got a family, got 4 kids, wife, day job, all this stuff going on, and so YouTube for a minute was just a little bit overwhelming. But the good news is I've got over 200 videos going still, and so they're constantly working. So I've continued, gaining subscribers and getting comments and people buying my courses and stuff like that. So
Cool.
it's been a beautiful thing to be able to take a break from like having to do a video every single week and stuff like that. But I just am getting back into it. In fact, today, what I'm doing after we get off today is I'm going to batch a bunch of videos for YouTube, and
Ooh,
then I also have like a little Facebook community of people, and I've got my mailing list. So I'm going to film some bonus stuff for them. I've done some like riff of the week type stuff, and that goes to the Facebook group first, and to my mailing list, and then it goes on to YouTube later. But that's just kind of one of the cool little bonus things that we do is a little fun riff of the week. And so I'm going to film some of those and get that going and get my long form videos going again, because I just really like getting out there and teaching stuff and helping people. Because my thing is when I was starting out, it was basically by myself. I
yeah.
mean, when I was learning, it was late '90s. My dad and my brother both played. My family was musical. We had guitars laying around, and my dad had owned a music store, and so we had a bunch of old books from when my dad's store closed down. And I found a book that had an accompanying VHS tape with it, and so that's basically how I started learning, was going through a book with a VHS tape. And funnily enough, later I took a class from the guy that wrote that book and did the video in college. And I had my own teaching business and everything at that point. He's like, "What are you doing here?" I was like, "Well, I needed 1 credit, so I took his 1 credit class that he was doing at the time." And he's a super nice guy. I think he's retired now, um, but yeah, when I was teaching myself, it was very, very overwhelming. Like, it's natural for me to be like, "Oh, that's way too hard. I can't do that myself." And now, years later, I hear stuff and I'm like, I would have thought that was hard when I was starting out, but it's like 3 notes.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You're really good about doing that on your YouTube channel. Of the videos I've seen, of taking something that seems complex and you break it down and make it simple.
Hence the
That's
name.
Hence the yeah. Hey, if you're joining us here in the chat, let us know if you got any questions for me or Brad about your guitar playing, or about music business or guitar business. Okay, so we're talking, thinking of your riff of the week. What's a recent riff, or what's one of your upcoming riffs that you're going to do?
Oh, you want? Should we do one right now?
Yeah, let's do.
All right, this is the one that's been on my mind. So if you get it, Eric, you get bonus points. I'll bet that you know this.
Okay.
I hope so, because I know that you have good taste. So
I mean, okay, so G
ah,
minor C. Is it? It's not Pearl Jam, is it?
no.
Oh, I don't know.
So well, okay. I guess
I
you
love
said
your
riff
food.
of the week, and I went to name that tune. We do those too. Um, one more time. Maybe someone in the chat knows it. But this is like late '90s, early 2000s.
Is it my other guess, just based on the way you're playing, is Chili Peppers?
Nope.
Kind of that Hendrixy, you
I
know,
know, right? You
sort
get
of
the
thing.
cool.
Yeah. All right, come on, chat. Who knows what this one is?
It's Jesus, it's actually kind of obscure now. Like me and my buddies used to listen to these guys in high school and junior high quite a bit, but uh, they were really popular for a minute, and then they just kind of just disappeared when like corporate radio took over and all the radio stations got bought up. You know,
Yeah.
but here's why I like this riff. We'll do a little teaching, right? It's a G bar chord to an A shape D bar chord. And then you use your little dyad where you're using your third finger on 7, first finger on 5 on your fifth string and your fourth string. And you're going to slide those up. And then you're going to double stop on 7 on your third and fourth string. We have that cool little hammer on and a pull off on your fourth string. And then back to 9 on your fifth string. And then you hit your double stop. And that's the cool thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then you go to an E minor chord, an A shape E minor. And then you play your B note on your sixth string and slide up to 8, which is your C note. Play a C chord right there with an E shape. And then you play that same riff, that same lick, but you do it on your fifth and sixth string. Wait. And then you go back down to G.
Nice. Yeah, that's cool. I think the first time I learned like that kind of like that whole idea, like it just changed my world. Like just
Mm-hmm.
learning how to do those Hendrixy rhythm fills like that. Okay, let me get rid of this dog again, and then I want to hear what.
Anyone in the chat know it? It's a good one.
Maybe take him back or something. Oh,
So that one, you ready for it?
ready. I'm ready.
Sister Hazel.
Sister Hazel.
It's Your Winter by Sister Hazel.
I don't know if I know that tune. What was their big one?
All for You.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, it's hard to say what it is I
That one.
feel.
Right?
Oh
That was
my
their big
god.
one. Couple tracks later on that album, you get Your Winter. It's a good song. That's their best song, honestly.
That's cool. That's cool. Okay, so check this out. So I have a show in Dallas tonight. It's called the Disco Cowgirl Show, and it's all like it's a lot of like 90s and 2000s pop country,
Hmm.
all female artists. So like Faith Hill, and then like some Taylor Swift, and then we do some like ABBA and Whitney Houston is as well. It's a pretty good time. And there's this one song called "Murder on the Dance Floor," and I put on this little auto wah for the guitar solo. So check this out. Right?
That's fun, dude.
I love that sound. And then it goes into just straight like funk pop. So like I'll tell you, I spent so many years like just focusing on like lead guitar and
Hmm.
obsessed with it, and then starting to like actually play professionally. I'm like, oh, I'm spending like 85% of my time playing rhythm guitar, and I was like, well, that's gonna be easy, dude. Like learning Whitney Houston and stuff. Trying to lock that in, and then you've got like these crazy.
It's like you start finding out all the lead players that are doing rhythm and lead are building everything right around the chord that they're playing.
Yes, 100%.
Right.
Yeah.
And then you start playing like solos. Like I was playing one, it's a Foo Fighters one. Um, uh,
Which, by the way,
um,
I love that hat.
we got this the last time we went and saw them. Um, what's
Let's
up,
see, Nick.
Nick D?
Oh, Nick D. What's happening, Nick? If you got questions for us, let us know. And also, I've seen Nick D before. Nick, where are you from? Let us know. Okay, so you got
So
the.
so yeah, what is it? It's off their Echo Silence, Patience and Grace album. It's called. It's the acoustic one. What is that called? Stranger Things Have Happened. That's a
Oh,
good one. Anyway, the whole solo is built off of like low chords on your first few strings, and that's it. You
yeah.
know. So
Yeah.
I mean, it's a lot of fun. So Nick D asked what Kemper I have in the background. This is the power head. It's the lunchbox. So it has the 600-watt Class D amp in it. So it drives the cab, and it's fabulous. I like it. However, if I were right after I bought this, they came out with the stage version, which is like $1,500, and that's all on the floor. I would get that nowadays. So
Yeah, and not that it's a contest or anything, but I'm running
is that
my
a quad
quad.
Cortex?
Yeah, it's my quad Cortex.
See, and I think that would be fabulous too, especially like at my music school where we've got bands playing.
Yeah.
Because you can run like 4 guitars at a time on that thing, right?
Yes. Yeah. At least two. I don't know if you can do four, but I know you can do. You might be able to do four. I
You,
know you can do
you
like a vocalist and a guitar player together, or a
yeah.
guitar player and a bass player, or a couple of guitar players. I don't even take advantage of the full capabilities of it. It was like I don't know how long it took you to learn your Kemper, but it was about 15 hours of pure hell for me. And then because I've always, my whole life I use like this stuff, just traditional pedals and everything. And
Hmm.
like now, I never even use these. I don't even use these amps anymore. I put them all in the quad cortex, and then like so for the show tonight, right? I've got um, my presets for standard tuning, capo one, a song that's capo two, capo three, and then I've got all my dance funk stuff, and then I've got my gimme 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 ABBA settings, and I
Hmm.
literally just hit one switch, and then within it I've got my presets for hitting 3 or 4 pedals at a time. And instead of doing the pedal dancing I always used to do, I just hit one button and I it's the single most important piece of gear that I own.
Oh yeah. No, like so I read stuff online that you can do up to 4 guitars at a time with it. So I've always wanted to get my hands on one to experiment with that
Yeah.
because when we've got bands, like I've thought about getting like the little Kemper player, which is like 7 or 800 bucks, but it's like you're running one, maybe two guitars through that. Um, but with the Quad Cortex, I was like, sweet, we could just get one of those and
Yeah.
run the full band of guitar players through it. Nick asked if there's a rack version. Yeah, there is a rack version. You can totally get a rack version. I like the lunchbox. It has a cool little handle. And then I went to a hardware store and I bought a flight case for it.
Okay.
That you cut the foam out and stuff, so it has a fancy case and stuff. It keeps it safe whenever I have to move it. So my only thing is I do like the convenience of just plugging into a combo amp and flipping it on.
Yes.
You
Yeah.
know, so my son has my son has a little tube amp. It's a 15-watt tube amp with a switch that goes 15 to 1 watt. It's awesome. And there's something about just flipping that on and just going for it.
I I agree. Yeah, it's sort of like old video game systems. You know, all you would
Mhm.
do is turn it on. You didn't have to sign in. You didn't have to make sure Wi-Fi was connected. You
And you
just
could pause the game.
yeah, yeah, exactly.
I know
And
we'll call
so
our kids all the time now, and they'll be like, "I can't. I'm in a match." And I'm like, "Shut it off." So,
so with the and I have a case, a nice little compact case for mine as well. It actually came with it when I bought it from Sweetwater. It was like a bonus they were including at the time. So I show up to gigs with um, two guitars and or if I'm playing bass, I show up with one bass and my little case, quad cortex case, and that's it. Those are the
yeah.
only two things that I'm carrying, and it's like the idea of now like hauling that is so barbaric to me. Uh,
Hmm.
you could not pay me enough to do that. I will say so. Like when I'm working, I do the quad cortex, and then when I just want to play, I'll just like plug into the twin and just dink around, and that's relaxing to me.
Hmm.
Nick says, "How do you put them in the quad cortex?" So there's videos online, but basically, Nick, what you do is I hook up one of my tube amp heads directly to the quad cortex, and then there's a menu setting which is called a neural capture, and then I just follow the steps on there, and then it imprints the amp, much in the same way the Kemper does,
Yeah.
uh, into the amp. And I don't know the science behind that. Do you know? It like reads all the waves and
I have no idea. Like I've never profiled an amp. I mean, the cool thing about the Kemper is the community for it is huge. So you can hop online and find profiles of amps that other people have already done. And so, for example, there were amps that my band recorded with. I was like, I've got to get that amp, you know. But rather than spend an extra 2 grand on a Mesa Boogie Mark V, I got on the Kemper community and I just typed in Mesa Boogie Mark V and like 100 different profiles popped up.
yeah,
And so I
yeah.
started downloading those for free. I got like this is a Bad Cat amp, which is one of the amps that my band recorded with, and it just sparkles and it has some nice shimmer to it.
And it's
And then
crazy
we
because it really it's not like the Line 6 pod days. Like it really
no,
works.
no,
And
it's great.
yeah, like going through like my computer monitors, I can tell a difference, right? But if I was to hook this up to a cab like you are, or like a flat response cab, or just a PA system, like
Yeah.
tonight when I go to play the show, it's going to sound amazing through the sound
Oh
system.
yeah. The thing is whether you've got a Kemper, an XFX, a Quad Cortex, a Helix, even nobody's gonna tell in a mix that you're not playing a real amp,
Yes.
right?
Yes. And that's the most important thing. So like at the end of the day, like do I like feeling the air behind me moving on stage? Yes. Do I like just being able to kind of let loose and rock out? Yes. But when you're getting paid, it's like the most important thing is supporting the stars, supporting the main artist, and when they're happy, I'm I'm happy, and they're
right?
especially happy when I'm taking up very little space.
Right? And sound guys love it too. Like, one
Yeah,
of the last gigs I did, sound guy I know, worked with him a lot. He came up, I was like, dude, you don't have to mic my amp, just plug your XLR into the back, we're good to go, you know? And so I had the cab just for a monitor for myself,
yeah.
but then he had full control over the sound, didn't have to worry about the cab mic picking up any excess stuff. So it's just awesome. The way that technology works now is just great.
Yeah, I think we're really lucky. We're kind of at the age where we grew up with traditional amps, but we now have access to all these tools, and we're willing to like adapt and learn. Because I feel like the only people still lugging around giant amps are really like older people who've just been doing it for so long that they're like, there's no way I'm changing at this point.
Well, no, and you've got more pros doing it too. Like John Mayer tours with Kempers now. You
Does he
know, like
really?
yeah, yeah,
That's
he's got a
actually
rack with like three different Kempers in it, and it's like backup for a backup. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
it's like he just profiles all of his stuff, and then rather than taking dumble amps on tour, he's
got him in the Kemper.
yeah, what his dumble or his two rock or whatever it is that he's playing through at the time. He's just got it right there, and
But that
it's super easy.
it does surprise me though, because he is the kind of guy who can afford to, even if it was like a Dumble copy or something, just pay somebody to lug all that stuff around. So the fact, I think that says a lot. The fact that someone
Yeah.
at Mayor's level has switched over. Joe Satriani, my favorite guitar player of all time, he switched over several years ago. He still has the amps on stage because of his Marshall endorsement deal.
Well, you
But
have to. You
yeah,
have to have the look at that level for sure.
yeah, yeah. If you're a guitar centric band, like when I took the girls to go see Olivia Rodrigo and Chapel Roan opened for her before anyone knew who Chapel Roan was, which by the way, I remember being like, that girl is going to be the next big thing.
Mhm.
Was very apparent, but there were no amps anywhere on stage, and so for like the big pop shows and everything, like you won't see them.
No. No, everybody's wirelessly got a Kemper in the back or an Axe-Fx or whatever it is. And so it's just funny how things have gone that way. But like the cool thing is now like you have a collection. Like there's something like 300 amps in here,
Yeah,
and you can find like I have not bought. You can go buy packs of amps that people have profiled, and there are guys who do it really, really, really good. And I just haven't found the need to go buy any yet
yeah,
because the free ones that get thrown up online for free are awesome. Like I'm a huge Green Day fan, always have been.
right.
Um, and so I was like, well, what's up with Billy Joe sound? Because I know that he has modded like JCM 900s, is that early Dookie Green Day sound. And so I was like researching. I was like, I wonder if anybody put that up. Oh yeah, yeah. It's yeah.
Oh, it's perfect.
Like it's the same mod on the same kind of amp. It's not necessarily his amp, but like I can sit there and I can be like, oh wow, I can play along with Green Day records and just feel like I'm Billy Joe, like I was 14 again.
Yeah, 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 yeah. So I got hired to start playing at a couple of churches not too long ago, and when I started doing that, I was like, "Gosh, I haven't been around like contemporary Christian music in over a decade. Let me just hop on the Neural DSP Quad Cortex website, and I
Mhm.
just typed in worship guitar, and one of the first ones came up. I downloaded it. It had all the shimmery reverbs and all that stuff because I don't really play that way, but it had like
Mhm.
the edge double delay kind of a thing that you need for contemporary Christian music. And I didn't tweak it. It was like a Vox AC30, which I have no familiarity with. I don't know if I've ever played one in real life, and so I don't even know what the like sound quality is of it. But like that's just what they had, I showed up to church with it the next day, plugged in. I was like, I have no idea how this is going to sound. And at the end of it, the sound guy was like, Eric, whatever you did, like, don't change it. That was perfect.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's funny. I get ads for worship packs all the time. I'm like, that is funny that's a huge market now. Is the
Yeah.
worship sound, So I think that's awesome.
Well, it's
One of the things though, like when I was growing up and teaching myself, the thing that I wish I had known at the time was, we always had like cheap solid state amps. Um, and then the big thing was we were always like, I need to get a good distortion pedal.
mhm,
That's the sound. And the thing that I discovered years later was no, it's not the distortion pedal, it's the amp. So like
yeah,
my advice whenever people are like, how do I get that sound? How do I get my stuff to sound like you? You have to just find a good quality amp that
yep,
sounds good. So
yep.
like when I'm playing a lot of alternative rock and stuff like that, it's like you have to get a Marshall, you know. It's
Have
like
to, have to.
if you want to bypass a lot of frustration, get a Marshall amp, like get their DSL series that's out now. The first one I played on, I mean, I was playing in bands through a cheap amp and with a distortion pedal, and it was working fine. You can make it work. But we went into the studio, and the guy at the studio was like, "Let's plug you into our Marshall." It was a JCM 2000, and he switched on the gain channel on it, and this is it. And it's like,
It
oh,
almost sounded
that's the
like
sound.
that almost sounded like Celebrity Skin by Hole.
Yeah, it kind of did.
But that
But
sound, when I first got like an amp modeler back
mhm,
in college, it was a solid state. I don't even remember the name of it is, but I still have it. And I found a Plexi. I just went through all the sounds, knowing zero about amps, and I came
yeah,
across something called Plexi, and I was like, I like this sound the best,
hmm
like the gold standard for me. And so now, once I learned what a plexi actually is, I was like, oh, that's why I like that sound so much. It's based on an old Marshall 1959 super lead, like Hendrix would use, and all those classic rock guys used. And so now, of course, anytime I do distortion in here, I'm always running like a Marshall Plexi style amp.
yeah,
And then, of course, here's my Marshall Plexi
yep,
here. And then this was like my recording amp for so long. And so it's weird about the distortion pedal is this Greg Howe signature distortion pedal right here. That is, I didn't realize till later, is based on a plexi drive, the Carl Martin plexi drive. So to get that plexi sound. And I discovered that it doesn't work with all my amps, but in combination with this amp in particular, for whatever I died, that for whatever reason, that combination really works. And so I put both that amp and that distortion pedal into the quad cortex because does the Kemper do that as
yeah,
well? Yeah, it'll profile distortion pedals.
hmm
So I've
yeah.
had
So I have a what's the one that everybody goes wild about, the Centaur? That's
yeah,
like
yeah, the clock.
$5,000, the Klon
Yeah,
Centaur, right?
yeah.
Yeah, it's already in there. It comes with it.
Same. And I use
It's
it all the time. It's called in mine. It's called the Mythic Drive,
hmm
and it just adds that. So between that and the built-in tube screamer, and then they have something called the Red Drive in the Quad Cortex. I'm simple. Like I don't like complexity. So once I find what works, I program it, and then I don't mess with it anymore. And the built-in effects of the Quad Cortex, I was really surprised at how effective they are.
right? Yeah. So I don't know. Yeah, I love how technology has come so far, but like I wish when I was 15 someone had said, "Here's a Marshall amp, and here it is clean, and here it is distorted, and that's the sound that you hear on records and you love."
Yeah,
Because I'm man, I had like Digitech, and everybody had those like RP 100s and the little things like that, and everything just sounded like garbage forever. And the early pods, the first pods that came out, thinking, "Ah, this is gonna be it." But man, if you just get like a decent amp that has tubes and it has a good clean channel and it has a good gain channel,
Yeah.
that's gonna carry you like 90% of the way there.
For me, that's this. This is my Mesa TC50, and
Hmm.
it's got kind of a Fendery type clean. Not as good as like my Fender Twin, but like close enough that if I can only use one amp, I love the clean. And then it's got this like switch to make it bluesy and make that clean channel just drive a little. And it's also simple with the knobs. It's not crazy complex. And then on the regular, like the drive channel, it's exactly the kind of like 90s, late 90s pop punk stuff that I grew up with. And then the full on shred channel is just like John Petrucci Dream Theater. It's If I had to pick just one amp that I could use, it would be this one. But fortunately, I
Yeah,
don't. I can. I So I do Fenders and Marshalls in the Quiet
yeah,
Cortex.
right, right. That's how it goes.
Yeah, and compressors. I never now I won't play without compression of some kind. Do you use a compressor?
Yeah, I tend to do that now because I kept seeing article after article of guys being like, "Yeah, throw a compressor on there." So I started doing that, and yeah, it's nice. It just makes things pretty,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know.
And like especially because I spend a lot of time going back and forth from strumming to picking single notes. And when you don't have that compressor, you'll hear the strumming and then you kind of lose
Mhm.
the those single notes. And that compressor, man, it brings up the volume of those quiet notes and it's really really nice. So
Yeah,
like years ago, if I had to play if I had to play this Taylor Swift song, um, I'd be like, "Ah, that's not very fun to play." But that compressor, it's so weird because I remember before I understood what compression was, it made no sense to me. And like still I feel like I can't explain it to somebody. You have to sort of just experience it and feel it and then you you kind of get it.
well, yeah, yeah. I mean, for anybody not listening, or sorry, anybody watching, who's like, "What the heck is compression?" I've never heard of that. Compression is an effect where it takes the quieter sounds and raises the level of them, and takes your loud sounds and drops the level of them a little. So it like squeezes everything just a little bit and makes everything a bit more even.
Yeah.
Um, and so to
That's the way of putting
experience
it.
that, because like you were saying, like when you're playing, it's really nice and loud and chunky, and you got lots of stuff behind it. But you switch to, and you're gonna lose volume just because you're playing fewer strings. There's not as much signal going through, so your compressor will just even all that out and make it sound nice. It's just magical, really.
Yeah. Oh, this is great. I didn't know we were gonna nerd out on gear so much. I'm so happy.
I didn't either. Oh, but that's what happens when you put a couple guitar nerds together and start getting questions about amps and stuff like that. It's
Yeah.
just too easy to go off. So
Yeah. Okay, well, I'm gonna let you go here in a few minutes. I gotta go hit the weight room before get pumped up for my show tonight. And then I know you got work to do.
yeah, I
What
got some videos to make.
You've got videos to make.
Yeah.
When you make videos, I don't know how it is for you. For me, I'm just kind of like, I gotta get everything set up, open my programs, and but then once I'm doing it, I'm having a good time. Um, and used to my favorite part was actually once I was like talking to the camera. I loved doing that part. Now it's the editing, which is probably not the best use of my time, but like I actually really enjoy editing my videos, and I never thought I would. What's it like for you?
Um, man, it's a mix right now because yeah, I still do all of it. I don't have an outside editor or anything, so it's like um I tried to simplify a lot though. So like I went from shooting on a DSLR camera and recording directly into my computer through Logic using a condenser mic and everything like that to shooting on my iPhone with a plugged in Shure condenser mic that plugs directly in. And so now I don't have to like edit the audio. Since I edit my videos in Logic Pro, sorry, in Final Cut Pro, and I
Okay.
use Logic for recording. So all my like presets and audio processing stuff is available in Final Cut. So when I want to edit audio in there, I have a couple of EQ and compression settings saved for my audio, and I just drop them in, and it's like a couple clicks, and my audio's edited. I don't have to like sync the audio and the video anymore.
Oh,
It
that's
has made life so
great.
much easier. So,
What about the guitar sounds?
oh, all through the mic.
So
So,
like you're just running through the cab and
yeah,
then
live.
and then what if you are playing along to a track, or do you not typically play along to any tracks?
So I've done that a couple of different ways in the past, where I will set it up, and you kind of have to do it like as a separate take, you know. So I'll drag the audio of the track into Logic,
Mhm.
and then video myself playing into it with the amp going into Logic through my audio interface, you know.
Got it.
But it's just like, you know how it is. We've done a lot of recording. We have all the gear sitting around. So when I started filming videos, I was like, I've got a condenser mic. I'll get that near me. And for a long time, I was running my Kemper directly into the audio interface
Mhm.
and the mic for my voice. But then you would get like the condenser would pick up like all
Yep.
the sound from my guitar
Yep.
and all the right of moving my fingers across strings and stuff like that. Um, and now that I'm just doing it as live as I can do, it's a lot simpler. It's a lot easier. I actually pulled out my DSLR. I'm going to pull it out today and try it. I have a Rode video mic on it. I'm going to see if that sounds good. Try that out. So,
Yeah, I just gave my Rode mic. It was just like $100 one, but I just gave it to a friend of mine who happened to need it. And I'm like, I never use it because I always use the because I'm still making my videos the way you used to, but you've intrigued me about simplifying that process. If all I did was hook up my phone and that was hooked up to a microphone, oh my gosh, like that
well,
would
dude, here, let me show you.
be
I've
so
got it
much.
right here. Er, This is the Shure MV88 Plus, and it's cool. It's got this cool little windscreen on it, but it's a little condenser mic. It has a left and right there. It's like $250.
Yeah.
Um, it is totally worth it. It has an attachment to plug in with USB-C or Lightning, or I think there are other things that has a headphone out so you can check your levels and stuff on it.
Sweet. Yeah,
Um,
I've got it pulled up right now. So that's so and you've been happy with the sound of that? Cool.
yeah. Um, yeah, that mic has been great because it made it so that oh, so here's the other way that I've done live with tracks. Like if you go watch I think one of the last videos I did was Dilemma by Green Day,
I
where
did I did a teaching video on Dilemma by Green Day. I think
yeah,
it's one of my most viewed videos ever. That was a great album, by the way.
I know, right? Way better than like the Uno Dos Tre trilogy or Revolution Radio. Like I
Dude,
just have been
Revolution Radio, that was the garage rock one, right?
I had just been so disappointed in their stuff for almost the last 20 years that
Yeah.
like when Saviors came out, and we saw them. I took my he was 13 at the time. He's 14 now. I took my oldest son to Vegas for When We Were Young,
Yeah.
and it was Green Day and Blink were headlining it. And I was like, dude, this happened one other time in my life
Yeah.
when Green Day and Blink did the Pop Disaster tour, and I was like, I regret not going to that.
Yeah.
And so we're gonna go to Vegas, and it was awesome because my son is really into good music. You know, Mind you, he's still listening to like Kendrick Lamar and J. Cole and stuff like that, but
Sure.
his favorite band is Blink.
Nice.
Um, he went through a big Offspring phase recently. Listens to
They
lots of Green
they
Day.
put out a good album in the fall as well.
Yep. So it's just been that was a fun show though
Hang
because
on
we
one
saw
second.
like 15 bands and it was great because you get Green Day, you get Blink, you get Newfound Glory, you get Yellow Card, you get the only one that I could say was a bummer was 30 Seconds to Mars.
Oh,
That was a total bummer.
when is that Jared Leto's band?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
That was terrible. Everybody in the crowd was like, "Oh my gosh, this is so bad."
Oh
He
no.
couldn't hit the high notes anymore, so he brought Tim from Rise Against out to sing what's their first big hit, The Kill.
Okay.
So whenever it got to the high screamy parts in The Kill, he would have Tim from Rise Against sing it. It was hilarious. But also, it was fun. We were excited to see All Time Low, and they brought out Teddy Swims,
Oh boy, that
who
thing.
I had been like watching his reels and stuff on Facebook and been like, man, this guy can sing and he's great. So when he came out, I was telling the people we were with, I was like, dude, this guy's awesome. Watch. And then right after that, they brought out Avril Lavigne. Yeah,
Whoa.
and that was great. And then it was like Sum 41 and Good Charlotte, and
Oh
it
my
was a
gosh.
blast.
That's
So,
my whole teenage adolescent years right there.
dude, if you haven't gone to when we were young, it's worth going to. But um, the next show that we're thinking about going to is in August, and they're coming to the Woodlands. We're going to the Offspring, and they have Jimmy Eat World playing, who I've been dying to see again. I saw them open for Green Day back in '05, and then Newfound Glory.
Oh, dude, Newfound Glory is one of my all-time favorite
I
bands.
love Newfound Glory, which we saw them at when we were young. I saw them open for Green Day too back in like '04. Um, it was great. They're
So
great, man.
Newfound Glory has, like, to me, Blink 182 is the gold standard in terms of like fun guitar riffs to play. And
Hmm.
Newfound Glory is right behind them. Like, just great guitar parts. And like Green Day, what Green Day has is amazing songs, but most of the time you're just playing chords. You're not playing like,
Yeah, most of the time they don't have like riffs.
yeah,
Like I mean, you do get like
one of the all-time.
you know, so you have that, but
Yeah.
like that dilemma riff when they came out with that, I was
Yeah.
like, dang, it's about time that
Yes.
they do some cool riffage. So, yeah, for the most part with Green Day, it's like really great songwriting, great melodies, but
Yes.
Blink's riffs are, you know, pretty unstoppable.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Pretty
it's pretty
pretty
awesome.
pretty iconic. But I will say on the most recent Green Day album, like some of the harmonies, and the riffs and just the writing behind it, it felt very mature. Like, they've come a long way since the Dookie and Performance days.
Yeah. Well, like, so my favorite Green Day album is Nimrod.
Oh no.
Um, Nimrod is killer. But there's been something since like 21st Century Breakdown. Like American Idiot was amazing and it was great. Um but something changed a little bit. And the
Mhm.
thing that I've like always been dying for them to do is go back to a simpler sound where it sounds like one guitar, one bass, drums, and one harmony.
Yeah.
And that happened a lot more on this new album.
Yeah.
And I was
Yeah.
like, see, that's it. There's something about getting back to your roots and
Yeah.
what made you really good that yeah, I was pleasantly surprised with that album. I liked the whole thing. Like my family was all singing Bobby Socks. Our
Oh
5-year-old
yeah.
will run
Great.
around singing Do You Want to Be My Girlfriend?
Here, will you take him with you? Thank you.
Hi, baby.
Yeah, it's good stuff. Yeah, so I've got your dilemma video pulled up now on YouTube. So that's cool. Yeah, you that hit pretty nice. I dig that. Well,
It's a
cool,
good
man.
feeling.
Well, awesome. Well, here we go back into the YouTube. I'm probably not going to have a full YouTube. Oh, I already know I'm not going to have a full YouTube video this week. My goal for a while it was crank out 4 or 5 videos a week, and then I just found like, okay, that's not sustainable. Plus, I wasn't doing quality, so I'm trying to focus on one really good video each week. But weekends that I have shows like tonight, I've got this show, and then I'm playing somewhere tomorrow, and then I've got an event on Tuesday, and then I have 2 different shows. I have a '90s gig on Friday, which is super fun. I get to put like all those bands you mentioned. I get to do a lot
Mhm.
of that stuff, but it's a 3 hour set, and I gotta every time I play the show, I have to like go back and revisit the tunes, like freaking Weezer. Like those are not solos you can just like jam on. Like those are like note for note solos. You, at least to
Yeah,
me,
because they're all melodic, you know?
yeah, yeah. They follow a melody. So then I got to get ready for that, and then the show I'm doing tonight, I have again next Saturday. So like if I get a YouTube video out in the next 2 weeks, it'll be kind of a miracle. We'll see.
Well, dude, that's why you gotta batch them. You
I
gotta
know.
batch them. You gotta sit
I
down and grab, like, 4 or 5 different shirts, and you have your video ready to go, and you film one, and you change your shirt, and you film the next one, and you change your shirt, and you film the next one. That's what anybody does. Like,
I need to get better at that. That's exhausting though, don't you? Like I'm tired after filming one video.
no, not really. Like, okay, so I guess it depends on your preparation, but if you've gone ahead and like created your outline, you know what you're going to be talking about. You've run through it. Maybe you just run through it like with a person live, or you film it one time, or you just do it in your head. A lot of times I just do it in my head, and then if I'm like, oh, I didn't like that part, I just film that part over,
Hmm.
and
Yeah.
just edit that in. But like I think the most I did one day, I did 8 videos one day,
Whoa.
and but then all I had to do each week was edit one video and upload it and get it ready to go. So
Yeah.
that's the magic right there. Because then if you do that, let's say you're putting out one video a week, then like 8 videos, you spend one hard day doing that,
Yeah.
and you're done for
All right.
2 months.
Because I know Lauren does that. She'll batch like
Yep.
all of her videos for the fall. She'll do in one day. Yeah, that's good stuff.
Yeah.
All right, man.
Dude, that is the way to do it. So have
Yes.
fun with that.
Well, dude, it's great getting to catch up with you, and we'll hopefully we'll get to see each other sooner than later because you're only a few hours away from me.
Yeah, I know. We need to meet up. I need to either like we got season passes for Six Flags, so we're gonna
Oh,
be out in your neck of the woods. So I'll have to hit you up.
I've been wanting to go to Six Flags for quite a while, and my youngest daughter, she's been wanting to go, and I haven't been in probably 20 years, so I'd love to do that.
It's fun. We like it. The kids love it. So it's all sorts of good stuff. Maybe
Yeah,
I'll talk to my wife. I'll be like, hey, when are we going? And I'll let you know. See if she
perfect.
wants to meet us over there. So
All right, man. Well, simple guitar. Where's the best place people can find you? Simple guitar on YouTube. What else?
yeah, at simpleguitar.com, DOTCOM on YouTube, or just go to simpleguitar.com. That's the easiest way to do it. And if you go there, if you haven't already, you can, I've got the top 10 things to learn on guitar first, which is just 10 things that give beginners a lot of bang for their buck. And is a lot of the same kind of stuff that we talked about today with like understanding how your amp works and different stuff like that. But also, like, hey, these are I start people out with like drop D power chords because
Yeah,
it's just fun.
I
You can
remember
just get playing.
the Jimmy Eat World tune is one that you always start with, right?
Dude, I love that song. And
Yeah,
then you can use those same 3 chords from that song to play a whole bunch of others too. So
yeah,
that's in there. There's a whole bunch of good stuff, but that's free. Go to simpleguitar.com. You can download that for free, have fun. And then I'll keep everybody up to date on new videos. So,
yeah. Sweet man. All right. Well, good. We'll say hi to Karen for me, and it's great to see you, dude.
okay, good to see you too, dude. Have a good one.
All right. See ya.
See ya.
Bye.